Hello, everyone, and welcome to Girl Ask Me Anything. Well, kind of. I think it's kind of Girl Ask Me Anything. You know what? Welcome. Thank you for being patient with me as I've been having some technical difficulties. But hey, you know what? Things happen. We roll with it. We figure it out. We make our moves and we just keep it going. So tonight, I'm really super excited. Thank you so much for allowing me the space last night to share my story. I hadn't done it before, and it was quite intimidating, but I have gotten so much positive feedback, and I just love and thank each and every one of you for doing that. But before we get started, I want to go ahead and acknowledge some of the people that are watching tonight. So Chris Baker, my buddy, hello. Doris, hello. Corinne, thank you for joining again, Corinne. Stephanie, hello, my friend. Listen, you guys, please in the comments below, please let me know where you are joining from. Do not be afraid to say hello. Because, you know, hey, I want to acknowledge you. I want to be able to call you by name. So hello. Last night, I started off talking about burnout. And I told you where I've been. I've told you what I've experienced. And the frustration, the tiredness, the anxiety, the depression, the goodness, the lying, the making up excuses as to why I would do what I was doing, and trying to just kind of take the it is what it is path. Live within the status quo, even though I didn't believe in the status quo. And I believe even today that status quo and average is a bad word. And I learned how to be a functional burnout. You know, you just kind of just keep on going. You go with not even go with the flow, because nothing's flowing, right? You've got that gnawing on the inside of you, and you know, things just don't settle well. And I shared with you that I came to a place of awareness, and with that awareness, I made some choices. Well, tonight I'm really just so overjoyed with excitement to share with you someone who's become a dear friend and a colleague and a partner that I can bounce things off of. And she understands my crazy because she's got a little bit of herself too. Personality styles really match each other. And we connect. And so I'm really excited to introduce to you my friend, Barbara. Now, before I bring her on screen, please be patient with me because Zoom has been giving me some problems. So I'm gonna try to bring her on screen so you guys can see her, and just let me know, okay? So give me 1 second. We're gonna figure this out, Barbara. We're gonna figure this out. Okay, so let me share my screen. Nope, didn't want to do that. Hang on, I'm gonna get this. I'm going to get this. Barbara, I'm gonna bring you on camera here shortly. Can you hear me, Barbara?
I can. Can you hear me?
I can. Okay, let me see if I can switch us over to so that people can see you. Oh my gosh. Oh, gotta love it. Gotta love it. Okay. So let's go ahead. Here we go. We're going to get it. I know we are. Oh, honey, when I tell you, technology tries. Yes, Chris, this is exactly why I was having technical difficulty trying to mess around with Zoom. I'm telling you. Okay, we're going to get this though. I promise. We are going to get it, and I'm going to do what I need to do. Oh my goodness, you guys. Okay, so we have, I'm just going to tell everyone that's here, we've got Curacao, I believe. I believe. I'm going to get over here really, really soon. Let's see here. Okay. I believe. Oh, this is going to drive me crazy. Hang on. Zoom to app windows. Got it. Okay. Show. What are we showing? Here we go. All right. So let me close this out. We're going to close that. All right. And y'all just be patient with me because Desiree is struggling tonight. I am struggling. So this is my dear friend, Barbara. Welcome, Barbara. We made it. We got it.
Hello. Hello, everyone.
Oh,
Thank you
no.
for having me.
I really hope that you guys can see her. There we go. I think you guys can see her. Chris, if you could let me know that you can see us, that'd be really, really helpful, my friend.
I can't see myself, but good.
That's okay. I'm gonna try to make this as big as possible so we can get this going. Okay, so we have Chanela from Curacao. Okay, that's what I'm trying to do, Chris. I'm running eCam and Zoom at the same time. So let me see if I could do it that way. All right, Barbara, go ahead and you start talking.
Hello.
Is that
Good
better?
evening, everybody. Can everybody?
Yes.
Yes, we made it.
Okay, we figured it out somehow. We're gonna make it work. Okay,
Tech
you guys.
challenges. I know all about them.
Right?
Yeah.
So we've got Chanela from Curacao, Fazul is watching, Ivy is watching, Jean is watching from the Big Island of Hawaii, BK.
Ooh.
Oh, my sister, girlfriend, hello. Carmela's watching. Goodness, I am so excited. Thank you, Chris. Thank you for letting me know that we can see. So I'm excited because Barbara has a really unique story. A very unique story. And in that, Barbara, would you go ahead and just tell us a little bit about you and where you come from, who you are?
Sure. I live in Northwest Indiana. My profession currently is I am a third generation family business owner, and we're in the manufacturing business. And my father and his father started the business back in 1960. So been there quite some time.
Awesome. And in that, being a third generation business owner, as you grew into that space and into that role, where did burnout play a role for you? Like, where were you? Can you tell me about the time when you actually went down that path and experienced that?
Well, burnout for me happened over a course of time, obviously, like you said. Being the C personality that I am, and I know you can relate with that, just being so driven to perfection, so driven to figuring things out, and not embracing failure as something that I would learn from. Just keep pushing forward and pushing myself until I could get the answers, and just operating from that state constantly, just as you said, led to the anxiety, led to the depression and frustration. And I found myself in that place, as well as experiencing many different major life changes. I spoke with you about, death in the family that I had experienced in the course of 2 years' time. I had some significant losses every 6 months. Someone very significant was passing. And then I was married at the time, newly married, and then having children. So some major life experiences really set the ball in motion for burnout.
So as I shared last night that when I finally came to the point of understanding where I was, I had that gnawing on the inside of me that I didn't know quite what it was, but something wasn't right. Can you share with us your experience with that?
Sure. You're in a place. I mean, I basically was in a place, and I knew that it was not a place that I wanted to be in. I didn't want to stay in that place of frustration and anxiety. However, there was little I can do. There was little that I was able to do to control that. In other words, I couldn't control those circumstances that were around me. As much as I was trying to control those circumstances, I could not. Um, and it just kept spiraling downward until I just couldn't take it anymore. And, like you said, you just experience that burnout and you just so don't want to be there, but you just so can't pull yourself out of it.
Mhm. I know that within the you're a woman of faith, and so within that space, there can be a lot of guilt. There can be a lot of doubt. Like, why I'm not supposed to be here. Like, I have this thing that I'm supposed to rely on, and I don't mean that in any disrespectful way, but I'm supposed to be able to rely, and I can't figure out why I keep going this other path. Like, it doesn't stop, right?
Mhm.
But
Right.
yet, now you spoke about being a business owner. So the responsibility of that and trying to manage that,
Yep.
how did you deal with that?
I just dealt with it and till I couldn't deal with it anymore. And then I just had the um, big crash. It just came crashing down, and I was to where I was unable to work for quite some time. I was hospitalized a few times, um, and just being in a place of just the depression, not being able to pull myself out of the anxiety that existed around me because they were real physical symptoms. And people do you do have real physical symptoms when you are in a state of anxiety, burnout, depression. They're real and they don't go away, and you cannot control them. So for me, I was seeking the medical intervention that I needed, but along the way I realized that the the help was going to come when I began to help myself. And as hard as that was to do, it's just, I knew that I wanted more. I knew that I didn't want to stay in that place as much as I didn't want to, and as much as I didn't want to stay in that place. It's hard to understand, to pick yourself up out of that place and move forward was very, very difficult. But with the right people around me and pushing forward, getting the medical intervention I needed was key. Um, and then just being on the path of self-discovery, staying
So
present to how I was treating myself, um, and the things I was allowing in my life.
I want to applaud you for being so honest about just even discussing mental health, because it can be it nowadays it's being more commonly discussed, but for a long time it's just been such a taboo subject. You didn't talk about
Right,
things like this.
right.
You didn't
And
talk about things like this, especially if you are in a place of having responsibilities like you have.
right. And I think that was, um, it's so detrimental that we don't talk about that because you feel such responsibility for dealing with it by yourself. It was a hush hush thing. It wasn't talked about. You're right about that. And just the fact that it wasn't talked about leaves the person experiencing that in the place of solitude, which is not the place to be when you're in that mindset, when you're in that frame of, of thinking, it's just not a good place to be.
Mhm.
It's just not. You need to seek the help of others. You really do.
Absolutely. So, Barbara, you'd mentioned self-discovery, and
Yeah.
in the personal development industry, that is it's a buzzword, right? You
Oh
you go
yeah.
down this path of finding yourself and discovering yourself, and um, how when you decided that I've got to do something different, talk to us about how that decision came to be.
Well, I just realized that I was at a place in my life after I was healing from the anxiety, the depression, and everything. I knew that it, deep in my heart, I knew there was so much more for me, and that there was no way I was going back to where it was. And I've always loved self growth and everything, so I just started the path of self discovery. I knew that the frustration I was feeling towards other people, the anger. I knew a lot of anger and bitterness, not working through the issues with the anxiety, the depression, and everything. Not not working through those things have a residual effect. It stays with you. And in order to heal, I knew that I needed to heal myself first, and it had to start with me. And once I could change my perspective, and the way that I looked at things and the situations around me, then the situations around me would change. They truly would, because if I would grow myself, then I would understand, and I would be able to, communicate with others better.
There's a quote by Henry David Thoreau that says, "It's not what you look at, it's what you see."
Hmm.
And in that, I think that's such a powerful statement, because
Yeah.
when we can look at things and have a certain perspective of what things may appear to be, but when we truly take the deep dive into, okay, I talked about, okay, here's my starting line. This is where I am. This is my go, do not go past go, do not collect $200, right? Here's the starting line.
Right.
And once we dive in and we jump and we get to the root of, okay, wow, I'm in this place, how the hell did I get here? And what the hell do I need to do to get out of it?
Hmm.
We start asking ourselves that question. So you go through this experience, you're running a business, um, it's generational, so there is no, you could have jumped out of it, right? But it's generational, so you want to continue with the legacy, you want to continue with, the carrying on the name and how important that is. um, and you're in this place. So talk to us about where you are today. Where are you now?
In a completely different place, but that was, to get to that place, I had to make a decision that I would grow myself. I had to invest in myself. And I knew that I needed to invest in myself. I really, truly knew that, because I was so miserable and unable to deal with the difficulties that I seen on a day to day basis. Um, and like I said, the bitterness, the anger, I knew those things were not congruent with who I truly was. And I was just done dealing with them. So um, I, I invested in my own growth. Um, I started by joining the John Maxwell team, became a certified coach, speaker, trainer, which helped me really begin my self growth journey. My very first book that I just connected with was Intentional Living, and I did the 7-day experiment, to where it was so impactful in my life, and it really started me looking from a different perspective at the people around me, the situations around me, and my role in how I seen those, and how I made them worse than they were, bad, or not the way I wanted them to be, but but also I had a role to play in that,
So,
and I had to accept that responsibility.
what kind of questions did you ask yourself?
Well, I asked myself, where did I need to grow? Why did I feel that way? Was it me? Was it them? And I just started staying in that discovery. But I also, in that discovery, I realized that there was forgiveness that needed to take place. There was release that needed to take place. Um, and I had to go there. And by going to the place of forgiveness, acceptance of other people where they are and their journey where they are, I was able to value them in that respect.
Mhm.
I didn't have to necessarily agree with the things that were going on around me. I could disagree if I wanted to, but it didn't have to affect me in a negative way.
When did you come to the place of accepting you?
Okay, you froze up there.
Oh, sorry about that. Can you hear me okay? Hopefully you could hear me. Barbara, can you hear me?
There you go. You froze up.
Ah, there we
I
go.
can I can hear you now. You said, where did I come to the place?
So where did you come to the place of accepting you?
I think I came to that place when I accepted others. I mean, really, because I mean, I really did. I mean, to accept others and to be able to forgive others for any hurt or pain that they had caused me, it was very real to me. It was very deep to me. Um, and you just don't forget things like that. But to be able to deal with that in a way and still respect that person, still value that person, still forgive that person, even if they don't recognize it, to be able to do that was just so freeing to me. It just it just really confirmed who I am as a person. You know, my character, is that's who I am, and I'm able to do that.
The the title of this week of interviews of amazing women is Stay the Course, the Courage to Count. And we're talking about the experience of burnout, a chronic stress over an extended period of time. And as I've been studying on this and just relating through my own experience and seeing just the statistics last year, I mean, just last year, last night I shared that, over 50% of US adults in 2017 reported experiencing burnout. And that the statistics on millennials was it was ridiculous. Like, people are burning out before they're 30 years old. Now, I know that it has, that might have a lot to do with just the fast pace of where we are going in society, the way that, the corporate world is working, the way that the business world is working, and all of these things. But you said something that in your doing it differently, in your making the decision to invest in yourself. Now, you didn't just read books, like you paid cash,
No.
right?
Yeah, yes.
You
Yes, it
paid.
was a monetary investment, and I knew that that had to be. If I wanted to grow, and I had to intentionally place myself in a different crowd with different people in a higher circle, so to speak, with different people who would think differently, who would challenge me to think differently. And that's really what I needed to do. And by doing so, I was able to relate to others better. I've grown as a person. My influence has grown, which it's just it's just the right place to start. You have to start with yourself. You can't. I mean, a lot of people just blame other people for things. They're quick to blame. when in reality, if you look at yourself in the mirror, you would see those very same qualities that you dislike in others in yourself. And when you're able to see that, then you can step into the forgiveness.
It can
Yeah.
take, yeah, you have to. You really and truly have to. In order to grow,
Mhm.
there is a responsibility that that I have had to take, that, people have to take in order for then the next step to be available to them.
Right.
There
If
is
you don't take,
go ahead.
go ahead. If you don't take that step, you're not going to grow. If you don't take the step into growth, nothing's going to change. You're going to keep, you know, repeating everything that's occurred.
Mhm.
It's not going to change. You have to make a conscious choice. You have to be purposeful with that. You have to be intentional with it. You have to invest in yourself. Yes, it's going to require hard work. Yes, it's a hard path to go down. It's often painful to go down that path of self-discovery, but it's really where the healing begins. It
And I,
really is.
and I also think that, when we go down the path of saying, okay, you know what, it's time for something to change.
Mhm.
And I'm willing to do the work. I'm willing to invest. I'm willing to pay the cost, because we're going to pay in one way or another. We're going to pay in one way or another, whether we're going to pay with our time, we're going to pay with our talent, we're going to pay with our treasure. There's going to be wins and losses, but all of that cost that's involved with that is really dependent on us. And we
Mhm.
can say, you know what, okay, the buck stops with me.
Yep.
And that's why I'm so excited with with you know with the Stay the Course program. When it comes to wanting success, it's not just something that we seek outside of ourselves, right?
Mhm.
Success takes all of us. It takes all of who you are. It takes all of who I am. And so, what would you tell the women that might watch this video, um, and what I've shared with you on, what I'm bringing to the world? What would you tell them about this program?
Well, for me, if your program would have been available to me at the time I was experiencing all of my struggles, it would have saved me a lot of heartache. It would have saved me a lot of pain. Um, but also more importantly, there was a time frame that all this occurred. The burnout, the whole process, the chronic stress. It just didn't happen in a year. Okay, I had a good I had a good 15 years of my life that could have been different had I had a program like this, had I had somebody taking me through a program, holding me accountable, reaching out to me, speaking into my life, connecting with other women to know that I wasn't alone in that. Um, you know, you can't make up for lost time. You just cannot do that. So don't wait. If you're in that place, take action, invest in the program. I mean, unless you're happy where you're at, then it's not for you. But if you truly want to change and you truly want to seek happiness, freedom from whatever it is that holds you back, invest in yourself, grow. It
You know,
starts with you.
it starts with us. And as we've often heard, transformation doesn't come in a program.
No.
It doesn't come in a program. I spent thousands trying to get rid of the pain. But when I started at that place, at that starting line, and started asking the hard questions of myself, transformation began when the decision was made, and then I took action.
Right.
So, you know, the Stay the Course program, I did share with you guys last night that the Founder Circle is open for those that are ready to take action. And for those that are ready to take action, I will, I would love to work with 20 of you, because that's all that is the space that I want to occupy right now. 20 women who are ready to make a decision, and they want greater. They want whole life success. And, what does whole life success mean? It means having, if you were to look at a wheel and the spokes on a wheel, and that wheel is your life, each spoke represents a major area in your life. And if there's anything that you have that is out of balance, whether it's in your faith, whether it's in your belief in yourself, whether it's in your family life, whether it's in your finances, your health, your fitness, your friendships, but any area that you have in your life that you're out of balance, you will feel that in other areas. So Stay the Course is not for everyone, but it is for someone. And it's for someone that's very, very specific and special. And Barbara, what you said, and I appreciate you edifying me with that, saying that, you went through this stuff for 15 years. And had you had the experience of going through this program, it could have saved you a lot of heartache.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for that.
Yep. You're
Thank you for
welcome.
that.
More like 20 years of my life.
Wow.
It really was. Yep.
So I welcome you. I thank you, Barbara. I appreciate everything that you have poured in, from your professionalism to your ideas, your creativity, everything about who you are, and in the space that we're able to occupy together in going forth and helping to transform lives through accountability, through intentional action, and through just jumping in and saying, hey, you know what, I'm worth it. So thank you for your belief in me. Thank you for saying yes to being a part of this week of sharing just intimate stories about your life. I thank you.
You're welcome. You're
I,
welcome.
I thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for joining me tonight on Stay the Course, the courage to count. I will challenge you to take action. Success takes all of you. And I want you to have the courage to count for what it is, so that you can have your confidence, you can have your courage, and you can have the clarity to make room in your life for the things that you want. I appreciate you so much. And I will see you tomorrow night on our live broadcast. Thank you for joining.
Thank you, Desi.